Assalamualaikum everyone, hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you guys had a fantastic Add Maths paper 1. Now, as I mentioned earlier that I will be making a video talking in detail about all the topics that haven't been tested, so that if you messed up in paper 1, you can still make up for it, given that you do really well in paper 2. And the thing is, the good news is that once paper 1 is done, we can predict to a significantly close degree of accuracy as to what are the topics that will be tested in paper 2. Now, mind you that this specific video is for paper 2 variant 2 only, but if let's say you sat for some other variant, in fact I know a lot of students have been reaching out asking me, okay, what are the topics that will be tested in paper 2 variant 1. So I'll give you a mechanism with the help of which you can figure it out yourself. It's very easy, so just walk with me and I'll explain to you how it's done, and I'll share a link to this sheet, this Google sheet, in the description. All you have to do is download this sheet, save it for yourself, and just make a list of all the topics that have been tested, all the concepts that are left. Those are the topics and the concepts that you will be tested on in the next paper. Okay, so here you can see that I've made a list of all the topics and all the concepts. Okay, and here are the concepts that are tested in paper 2, as you can see, and here I have highlighted all the topics plus the concepts that haven't been tested. We'll go over them one by one in paper 2 variant 2. Okay, and I would like to say thank you to all the students who reached out and told me, with the finest detail as to what topics and what questions were tested. In fact, like as I mentioned earlier, some students actually made a whole Word file replicating the actual paper, and that just made it easy for me to help you guys even better. So here we go. Trigonometry. So I do believe there was a question on graph sketching and identities, which means I'm expecting a question on trigonometric equations. Could be combined with identities, could be a standalone question on equations, could be even with differentiation, could be even one of those questions where you have to alter the range. So I guess you guys will find out sooner or later. Then there's coordinate geometry. So the only question that there was in paper 1 variant 2 is straight line, including a perpendicular bisector. So that means linear law, equation of circle, and intersection of circles. All this hasn't been tested, which I can almost guarantee will be tested in paper 2 variant 2. Then let's talk about polynomials. So there was a question on remainder and factor theorem, but there was no question on curve sketching, cubic inequalities, or curve sketching with modulus, or finding equation from the curve. So I believe you can expect something like that. Now, there was a big question on circular measures. So I'm not expecting that in paper 2 variant 2, mind you. Then differentiation, equation of tangent, and small change. And I do believe there was a question on rates of change that was tested, but I could be wrong, because when I posted this on my Instagram, so students reached out and they said that rates of change has been tested. So anyway, if it has been tested, don't expect it in paper 2. If it hasn't, then you can expect it. So that means what you can expect are those questions involving practical applications where you have to find out maximum, minimum volume, area, whatever, could be a shape or something, or maybe a question related to stationary value. Now, there was a big question on AP GP. In fact, I believe there was a separate question on AP, separate question on GP, so you shouldn't be expecting that in paper 2. Now, in logs, there was a question related to simplify. So what's not been tested is word problems and graphs of ln and e, which could be combined with functions, or it's usually combined with functions, so I'm not really expecting a standalone question. Then as far as vectors is concerned, so there was a question involving position vector, involving finding the constant of lambda and mu. So that means the only part of vectors that is left now is velocity vector. So I'm expecting that to be tested in paper 2 variant 2. Then there is integration. So there was a question on area under the curve. In fact, it was a very repetitive question, so no surprises there. Which means what hasn't been tested is equation of the curve, indefinite integral, and those hence find questions, or maybe hence evaluate questions. Now, equation of the curve basically means that maybe you're given the double derivative and you have to go all the way back to the equation of the curve, or maybe just dy by dx and you have to go back to the equation of the curve, or maybe there is a question on indefinite integral, which basically means just integration without any limits, or maybe there's a hence find question where you differentiate something and now with the help of that you need to integrate something. Okay, then there's permutation combination. So there was a question on NCR without a calculator as predicted, which means all the word problems of permutations and combinations that's left, and I will inshallah be streaming that very soon, so just stay tuned for that. Then kinematics. So there was no concept of kinematics tested in paper 1. There was no concept of functions tested in paper 1. There was no concept of binomial tested in paper 1, and there was no concept of quadratics tested in paper 1. That means these are all the concepts related to quadratics that you can expect to be tested in paper 2. 2, and these are all the concepts related to binomial, then these are all the concepts related to functions. Now if let's say you did not appear for paper 12, you maybe sat for paper 11, then all you have to do is pick concepts from here and list them here, and the concepts that you're left with will be the ones that will be tested in paper 2 variant 1. Not with 100% guarantee, but you can expect those topics to be tested with a significant degree of accuracy. So yeah, I hope this helps, and inshallah I'll be starting my streams very soon. Let's get up for that, and let me know in the comment section what topics, what concepts you guys want me to stream, so I can start with that. And inshallah I'll be taking lots of mocks. I do plan to take at least 2 mocks or 3 mocks maybe, considering that we have plenty of time. Today is the 20th, so yeah, there's plenty of time. So for containing all these topics that haven't been tested, so that you guys are well prepared for paper 2. I know a lot of you have been reaching out. I've got to be honest, I've been slacking for the past 2 days, but I think now it's time to get back to turn on the work mode, and inshallah you'll see that very soon. So yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys inshallah in an upcoming video or a stream. So take care, keep studying, keep solving past papers. See you in the next one. Allah Hafiz.